Hey everybody, my name's Seth, and today I'm going to be talking about what happens when you have Venus as your chart ruler. This is specifically for people with a Libra ascendant, a typical Libra ascendant chart. The chart ruler is the planet that rules your first house. It's kind of just that simple. The difference between the chart ruler and the ruler of your second house, the ruler of your third house, the ruler of your fourth, is that the chart ruler is actually giving a strong direction to your life. What's going on with the planet that rules your first house is actually putting a lot of information into where and how you use your ascendant at all. Alright, so if you have Venus in your first house as your chart ruler, this shows, well, firstly, your Venus is in Libra, and this is a very, very, very affectionate, wanting sort of energy. You really want to balance. You really want to balance yourself out, and you will have to do a lot of inner work. You are built for relationships. You attract them. You attract people who like you. You are attractive. You have good grace. You have good manners. You have good etiquette. It all comes very naturally to you. And your charm is off the scales. But the problem is that you need to balance out yourself. You need to focus this energy on yourself. You need to be able to love yourself and take care of yourself and give yourself pleasure and give yourself what you need before you go into a relationship where you're dealing with someone else's needs too. And then it really is a balancing act. You need to balance yourself before you can balance someone else. And that's actually going to be the biggest lesson for you. You look at where Aries is sitting, and you see that Aries is on your descendant, and you see that again, this is about the relationship. But with Aries being on your descendant, this means your place in the relationship. You're going to have to focus on you and what you're doing and what you're providing and what you need out of this relationship. Define it all. And once it is defined, once you take that time to figure out what you like and what you don't like, what you love and what you like, the differences between all these different things, and you balance all those things out within yourself, you can find a relationship you are ready to commit to. And turn it into something that you can help identify yourself and identify your path with. The person that you end up getting into a relationship with is going to be a big impact on your path, a big impact on your love life, a big impact on what pleasures you're bringing into the world and what pleasures are actually open to you. You're going to need to work on yourself first, though, and handle that. And wherever Mars is sitting is actually going to be your weakest point, because this is where you need to focus the most on yourself. This is probably where you're going to be this is the things that you really want out of a relationship before you work on yourself is actually most likely what you need from yourself, what you need to give to yourself. And then when you are prepared for that, and you've given it to yourself, and you feel like, I don't need it from another person, I would just like it from that other person, it'd be nice to get it from me and someone else, and to be able to give to that other person as well, whatever they need, then it's time to do that and start getting into relationships that are really karmic and important. And it won't be hard for you to find a relationship. It'll just be hard for you to find the right relationship. You bring a lot of beauty into the world just by being you, just by exuding your own energy. And the things that you put your hands on, the things that you'll rearrange, the things that you create are a mark of your beauty and a mark of the beauty that you want to bring into the world. But a lot of things need to be balanced on the inside. And you need to find some emotional strength, some inner resolve, some inner peace. So you won't walk into a relationship trying to deal with yourself. You can focus on that person. With Venus in your second house as your chart ruler, this is going to be Venus in Scorpio. Venus doesn't necessarily like being in Scorpio. It's not something that she truly, really enjoys, because Venus is very much about the aesthetic. Venus is about the pleasures coming from the outside coming in. Venus is not about digging deep and figuring out what's going on with me internally. But she's about it now with Venus sitting in Scorpio. She's about that shit now. And you're going to have to deal with that discomfort. And Venus's discomfort is coming from the fact that you need to challenge your own values. You need to figure out what you don't want before you figure out what you want. the ways that in which you find love and figure love out and process love has a lot to do with pain. It has a lot to do with making tons of mistakes and battling your own insecurities. With Taurus sitting in your 8th house, you can see why it's about the battle. It's about the pain. It's about the things that you don't want to bring to the surface that need to come to the surface anyway, and that need to be dealt with so you can build a strong, long-lasting, healthy relationship, the sort of thing that you want. But you need to understand, again, kind of like when Venus is in the 1st house, that it starts with you. It starts with what you need to fix within yourself. Because when you go into a relationship, it is very easy to point at that other person, point at what they did wrong, point at what they need and what they need to change. But you need to check yourself and wonder why they got brought into your life. Why are you looking in the mirror? Because everything that comes into us is an example of what's going on within us internally. So if you are finding people that are abusive or manipulative and you have this placement, you may be very open to being abusive or being manipulative, or you might not let go of the abuse and manipulation that happened on earlier, and now you have to face it. You have to face it and conquer it in real life until it sticks and you conquer it internally, and then you're going to find a whole new range of people, a whole new range of issues for you to deal with. But love and it's going to be potent here, and the idea of bringing real beauty, raw beauty into the world, creating things and making connections with people who have the like mind like you, like I want to dig deep and bring something out of here that's beautiful. Your idea of beauty is going to be very unique in the fact that you can find beauty in things that other people find horrific or different or strange or just not typical. You're almost attracted to it. And you're very willing to engage in the type of pleasures that are personal for you, and you're very inclined to engage in pleasures in private. But once you find people that are into the same private pleasures as you guys can kind of create a sort of abundance of something because nobody else is paying attention to it but you guys. And when you get in and you find your kin and you find these people, you find your people, you can create something amazing because nobody else is paying attention. Nobody else wants to pay attention to this. But you guys are. And that means it's all more for you and less for everyone else because you guys are the ones that care. You guys are the ones that are focusing on this. But you need to work on yourself before you can find your kin, before you can find your people. And really battle your insecurities and then be able to share them with someone else and take on their insecurities and they take on yours, and then you guys can balance it out and figure it out and heal each other and find a really deep relationship where pleasure is more than physical, it's spiritual. And when it comes to your work and building something for yourself, you got to do what you love. It's got to be somewhat artistic. It's got to be some type of way for you to interject love and interject passion and beauty into something, into someone else maybe, through whatever means necessary. But do what you enjoy, focus on what you enjoy, and build your values off of your strengths, not your weaknesses. Now with Venus in your 3rd house, you can kind of see where you are extremely gifted. You're extremely gifted within communication. You're extremely gifted within the art of alternative communication, using more than words, using more than speaking, using more than these things, and communicating through art, communicating through expression. With Venus sitting here in Sagittarius, you want to explore all the different ways to communicate how you feel and what's going on inside. But there's also a strong idea that you are somewhat lazy about your logic, and the fact that you came into this world with so much opportunity, it's almost too much opportunity because you're going to feel as if I have so many choices. Well, if this starts to get hard, I'll just do something else. And if that starts to get hard, I'll do something else. And you'll start to try to create a easy life. You'll want an easy life. But exploration isn't easy. And you'll find that when you do the hard work, you find so much more. And then it becomes worth it to expand your mind and to expand your talents and to not be happy with the gifts that you have, but turn them into something more and explore and find out what exactly you can turn them into. What are your choices? You have Gemini in your 9th house, giving you this idea that you can expand upon your ideals and your interests, and how your interests can be a whole lot more than you thought they were. Like, you're really into writing and you know that you're eloquent with it, so you just write whenever you can, and you enjoy the fact that people love it and that people are attracted to it. But then you get bored and you're like, well, I feel like there's nothing really more I can do with this. You need to push it. You need to push it farther. You need to challenge people, and you need to challenge what they like. And you need to start looking, exploring other ways in which people are writing the same poetry as you. Again, you're going to want to look for a way to please yourself in ways that are not going to be average or normal. You are going to easily get bored, because if you're sticking with what you know, if you're sticking with what's around you, you're going to ache and crave more and different and diversity. You need to get out. And I'm pretty sure that you've already kind of have a sort of lifestyle where you've seen a lot of places not very far from you, but just around you. You've seen them, and your taste is sort of acquired. It's the sort of thing where it's like, well, I'm really into Ethiopian food. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? What happened to you that you were exposed to it in the first place? It's those sort of weird little things that you just really like, and you need to expand upon that. Maybe start writing about food, and you know what I mean, finding ways to join your interest with your passions, with your loves, with what pleases you. Write about what pleases you, and express what pleases you, and communicate it, and find that the diverse things that you're interested in and the diverse things that please you, try to meld them together and create something new. Explore what they're like when they're put in combinations, and just really try to diversify what pleases you, and really try to expand upon what makes you happy, and how you can utilize your communicative talents to expand upon what makes you happy and what pleases you. And you will start to see that this sort of lifestyle, this lifestyle full of decadence and beauty and greatness and pleasure and work, can create a lifestyle that's amazing. And later in life, you'll be able to teach people how to do the same, and how to have a beautiful, happy life, full of work, full of expression, full of pleasure, and you don't have to be looked at as greedy or overly lavish, or start to get petty. You don't have to do that. You can keep it inspirational, and keep it intellectual. So that's going to be a very fun path. It's a very karmic placement here. When you look at Mercury, you're really going to see where you're coming from. What exactly about your interests and about your pleasures are you going to want to look a little bit deeper on? When you think about the food that you like, and the bed sheets that you like, and the people that you like, and the dogs that you like, what do they all have in common? What exactly got your interest on all of them? Mercury will kind of help you define that. What about all these different things catch your interest in the first place? And how can you improve upon your expression of these things, and improve upon your ability to communicate your love for these things? Now, with Venus in your 4th house, in Capricorn, this is the type of person, especially with that Libra ascendant, your chart ruler, you want that decked out house. You want to be able to create a space for yourself that is exactly how you dreamed it. And you don't care how much money it costs. You don't care how much work that needs to go into it. You don't care who you have to love or kill to get there. You want this. And this is exactly what pleases you. This is what you dream about. This is what you want. You want to be able to have a sanctuary, your sanctuary, that you've built and that is built for you. And you want to be able to surround yourself with the things that you're proud of, the things that you've earned, the things that you love. So when you are home, you are in a space of love, and a space of warmth, and a space of pleasure. And you're willing to spend the money or somebody else's to get it. And it can become a sort of need here, where Capricorn is a strong energy, but it's a fearful energy, and Venus picks up on that fear, and it can't really support the strength. Venus is not that sort of planet. So you're going to have to provide it. You're going to have to remind yourself that you have strength to get things on your own, and that you don't need a relationship no matter how many times you think you do. You don't need a husband. You don't need a wife. You need to be able to cultivate things on your own and find a husband that fits in with the rest of everything else, and find a husband that makes you better. Not the type of person that you feel like you gotta find them to get better, or they are going to be what makes you good in the first place. You gotta make yourself good. You gotta earn your own pleasures, and then bring other people in just the icing on the cake, just something that makes it all worthwhile in the end. With Cancer being on your 10th house cusp, it's not going to be that hard. When you stop focusing on the relationships and what you can get out of these people and get out of these things, and start focusing on what you can do for yourself and what you can build for yourself, you will start to see that you're craving for love, and you're craving for peace, and you're craving for harmony around you will actually be a natural extension into the outside world. Your career and what you build for yourself, and the ways in which you earn what you love, will be an extension of what you love in the first place. And it will be an extension of the fact that you want to bring love into this world, either for yourself or someone else, but everybody wins when you're working for love. And it's going to be a little bit kind of corny to you, and it kind of sounds like, oh, I don't know. It sounds a little corny, and life will kind of kick your ass to the point that you will finally understand this. But once it does, you need to be able to understand that the hard work does not mean equals physical possession. Sometimes the hard work is internal. Sometimes it's emotional hard work. Sometimes it's dedication to what you love, and dedication to love in the first place, to get what you want and to build what you want and to surround yourself with what you want in the first place. Strength is not going to be what you think it is. Love is not going to be what you think it is, and work is not going to be what you think it is. You're going to discover all those things. And when you look at the moon, you're really looking at your paradigm shift. When you look at what's going on with your moon, you're really looking at what is going on with you. And what about you is going to need the most change? What about you is going to need the most flexibility? What sign is that moon in? What are the themes of that sign? How is that going to change you? What house is the moon sitting in? What lessons are you going to learn? What is this all revolving around? And you can really get a good picture on how to rethink and redefine pleasure, love, work, career, all of that, to create a lifestyle that you never thought you would dream of, but it will be everything that you want once you have it. When you have Venus in the 5th house in Aquarius, you start to see a little bit of a challenge, because you define love in a very unique way. It's kind of like you're seeing the progression of what goes on with these signs through this planet, because Venus and Capricorn just work to get where you are, to be able to figure out what love really is to them, to redefine all what pleasure is and all these other different things. Now you have done it. It's redefined for you already. You came into this world and you know exactly what it is for you. It is unique, and you want something unique for you. You don't really got to go searching for it. You know what you want, and you just got to find what you want, not discover what you want. And there's a sort of thing where there's a strong pride factor here. But it's confusing, because it's not the sort of pride like it's my ego. It's the sort of pride where it's like, I am a human, I am here, I deserve love, I deserve pleasure, I deserve the acclaim because I work for it, because I'm smart, because I'm intelligent, because I made up my own mind. And yes, you do deserve it, but you need to understand that that doesn't mean you're going to get it. That doesn't mean that people are going to give you what you want. That doesn't mean people are going to appreciate it. You need to learn to be your own biggest fan. You need to learn to be able to give yourself what you need. And you need to learn to be able to find people who are like you. Yet again, kind of find your kin, find your people, and praise each other. And bask in the influence of each other. And get yourself out there and start entertaining people. Start giving away some of your talent, some of your hard-earned work, so you can actually get the claim you deserve, because you've worked to give it to people. You're giving to people, and now they're giving back to you. Don't just kind of sit there being so proud of yourself and expecting everyone else to just be proud of you too. For what? What have you ever done for them? Why should they care that you're so great? Give, and then you will receive. That's going to be a big thing here. And you do great with children. You love children, and especially because children love you, and they are attracted to you, and they like being around you, and they think that you're fun, and they think you're really pretty or really cute, depending on what sex you are and the sex of the child. They're going to be just fascinated by you, and they're going to love it. And you're going to love it because it's attention you didn't have to earn. And that's really going to be a thing. And you look at Leo in your 11th house, and you look at wherever your sun is placed, and you're going to see your sensitive spot. You're actually going to see what you're most proud of, where you think you deserve all this acclaim, and Leo is going to say, I'm sitting right here in the 11th house, this is where I want it. I want people who are like me. I want a network of people that I know to praise me. And then the sun is showing you what exactly you want them to praise you for. Venus wants that pleasure. Venus wants that praise. Venus wants to be able to find entertainment in it and to find joy out of it and to get some pleasure out of this. Wherever your sun is placed is also where you need to give. You need to give, you need to innovate, you need to find ways to change this want for love into a need to give. And then you will get everything else in return in your own time when you truly deserve it. You're not the one who makes up the rules. You don't decide when you deserve it. You don't decide when pleasure is to be earned by you. You give, and you live your life, and you try to do the best, and you try to do what's right for you every day. And you put your head down, and you do it. You embrace humility. And then you will find this acclaim. You will find that people appreciate that about you. That's what they find beautiful about you. That's what they're so attracted to. The fact that you can put your head down and work and do what's best for you and focus on yourself and focus on your needs and focus on love and focus on the pleasure that you want in your life and going out and getting it and going out and spreading it. But if you're focused on the acclaim, if you're focused on what you feel like you deserve, if you focus on everything else but the work you need to do, your Venus isn't going to shine because you're not embracing Aquarian traits. You're embracing Leo traits. Having a Libra ascendant is a very karmic placement. It's a very, very karmic placement. And every place that you see Venus, it's going to be sitting the opposite of its actual sign. And this just means that this is where you need to balance. This is the balance of yourself. Coming from having a Libra ascendant, you need to balance yourself. Wherever Venus is placed is how you're going to do it and what parts of yourself need the most balance. And we're seeing it here. With Venus in Pisces in your 6th house, you see that Venus is kind of like in a jacuzzi. Venus had to go through Scorpio, had to tire herself out in Sagittarius, had to really tire herself out and find out what it means to be tired in Capricorn, and then go through the mental stress of going through Aquarius. And now it's in Pisces. And it expects everything to be good, expects everything to be harmonious, and that's what it wants, that's what it's reaching for. Like everything from a Venus in Pisces, just relax, calm down, chill out. Because Venus is now giving you that energy because it has matured to this point where it's like, this is what you need in your life. This is what I need in my life because I've been through so much and I'm giving this to you. Now in your 6th house, you're seeing that Venus actually wants to do this. Like, no, I'm dedicated to helping people relax. I find pleasure out of seeing other people being pleased and being able to be the one, the catalyst for other people's pleasure. I want to spread love. I want to spread harmony. And I want to be able to build relationships from the ground up and up into the clouds. I want to work on things. And I want to make a real emotional connection and find pleasure that's beyond anything physical. But I want to use the physical to make this available for everyone, to make this just a reality, period. And you're going to be leading towards that with this being your ascendant ruler. This is going to be a strong part of your personality. This sort of laid back sort of attitude and this idea of maybe turning work into pleasing other people or getting other people to be on the same circumstance so they can be laid back. Being able to give unconditionally because it makes you feel good, not because, you want something in return or that you're expecting something to happen, but it's just like, no, I have a natural joy, I have a natural peace inside of me and I just want to share it and I want everybody else to be able to have what I have. So you want to share, and it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of your own pleasures, and then really understand that what pleases you is other people's happiness. So let go of your physical pleasures. Let go of what you can buy. Let go of what you can earn, and look at what your sacrifices can do for other people. Never let someone drain you. Never let someone take from you. But understand that these physical things that you like, they might help recharge you, and other things like that might make you feel a little bit better about yourself. But it's more about being of help, being of service. And you can really see that because Virgo is sitting in your 12th house. And it's that your connection to the esoteric, the real connection to what Venus wants and what Venus is being driven towards, it's coming from your 12th house, and it's coming from Virgo being there, and being of service is going to unlock that for you. Now, how you can be of service to other people. When you look at Mercury, and when Mercury is in your chart, you see that, well, if Mercury's in like a water sign, maybe I can be a healer. Maybe I can be someone who helps people go through traumatic experiences. Maybe I can actually work with water. Maybe I can actually sell jacuzzis and literally do this. And use healing to find the peace and find the pleasure that I want by pleasing other people and helping them in this very emotional, spiritual way. Now, Venus in like a fire sign, you could be a party planner, you could be a bartender, you can be somebody who brings joy, brings fun, brings light into other people's lives. And that will make you feel good, and you're sacrificing your time and you're sacrificing your energy to be able to help someone, and it's just making your Venus stronger, and it's giving you the capability to turn what this joy and this sacrifice into something that actually supports you. You can actually survive off of this sacrifice. And the monetary things that come in that can buy you physical pleasures and just the staples of living will be able to also support your sacrifices, and it can become a whole lot more balanced, a whole lot more fluent, and life can be this sort of great, loving, beautiful thing. Now, with your Venus in Aries as your chart ruler, Venus is actually going to be opposite your descendant. This is rough. Your chart ruler opposite your ascendant is always rough. Now you're coming into this, Venus is bringing you into this, where you know what pleases you, you know who pleases you, and you have no problem finding them and getting that pleasure. And there's this sort of way that you don't wait for life to come to you. You go after it. You go after your pleasure. You go after your what you want. You go after love, and you try to take it. You want to find love and take it and make it yours and have it. And then if it's not what you wanted, or it's not fun anymore, or it's not pleasurable anymore, you let it go, and then you move on. And it's this idea that taking, but you're going to start to have to learn to give, because opposite your ascendant, you're going to keep giving to people. You're going to be one of those people that go into a relationship and you're really nice, and you used to give them presents, and you used to do all these things, and then as soon as you guys started dating, everything changed, and suddenly you don't do anything for them anymore, and you're always on the couch, and you're always doing this, and you're always doing that, and you're always expecting them to give to me, keep giving to me. You can easily become that person. That stereotype is most likely someone with a Libra ascendant with their Venus in Aries in the 7th house, because you're about the game, and you're about playing that game, and you're about the fun of playing that game, and winning love, and winning what you wanted. But then once you win it, the game's over, and you kind of don't play anymore. You need to never settle. If you find love and it starts to get boring, and it starts to slow down, and you feel like you're starting to lose interest, then you need to engage in it. You need to make it fun again. You need to find someone who can keep up with you, but know that not everyone is going to be able to keep you interested for the rest of that relationship, for the rest of your life. They are not a puppet. They are their own person. They have their own needs, and you need to meet their needs as well. So throw excitement into this relationship. Never settle for just the fun and then skipping out. You need to give more, and you need to do more. You have a responsibility for this relationship. Aries is more than just one-track minded, zoom, 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 zoom around. Aries is about responsibility. Aries does carry a lot of responsibility. And now with Venus in your 7th house, this relationship is your responsibility. And with Libra sitting right across from it, in the first house, you need to balance out that responsibility. You need to make sure that your partner knows that they are responsible for you as well, but you are putting in as much as you are expecting them to give to you. And then things will become healthy. You see Venus sitting here in Aries, and it's like you are willing to do that. Whatever needs to be done, whatever excitement needs to be thrown in here, you will be the one. You'll have it. You'll have a little bag with something in it to throw some spice into there. But you need to be able to commit yourself long enough and to stop kind of relying on them to create games for you to play. You need to start engaging in your relationships in a much more balanced way and a lot more fair. And think about what is actually fair about the relationships that you keep. With your Venus in Taurus in the 8th house, love is sort of a touchy subject for you. Love is something that you have a lot to learn about. Love is something that will really drive your growth and drive your transformations. And I think it's going to be the fact that you think you know what it is, the fact that you understand your wants and your needs, but you don't understand that you need to recreate yourself. And when you do recreate yourself, and when you do grow, when you do mature, you have new wants and you have new needs. And understanding that. And if you keep expecting to change, but still want the same things you wanted before and still feel like you need the same things you needed before, have you actually changed? Have you actually grown? Are you getting anything out of a relationship that is different from before if you keep settling with the same things? So Venus being placed here, the idea of pleasure can lead you into trouble. It can lead you into a sort of relationship where you get exactly what you're asking for. And it's like going to a genie and making a wish, and you get exactly what you asked for, but there's a catch. That's how relationships work for you, because you cannot be as demanding as you feel on the inside. You got to be willing to accept what they're giving to you and be able to grow from the experiences behind you, and then stop thinking that the world is going to change and that you don't have to. And that when you grow, you get to decide how far you're going to grow, and that you get to decide what about you is going to change and what's not. It's not your decision. If you keep coming at this from this place of control, then things are not going to work very well. You are very sensual. You're very in touch with your needs. You're very in touch with what's going on inside of you. But that idea of being so in touch and that idea of being so connected actually works against you, because you feel that you are in control, and it's a false sense of control. You need to be able to learn about yourself and understand that there's always going to be something new for you to learn about yourself. And there's always going to be new values and new things for you to challenge within yourself. Now you have Scorpio sitting in your 2nd house. Scorpio is that challenge. Your values need to be able to change by the pain that you feel, by the destruction that happens within your life. The dark side, the trick, when you finally figure out that I got exactly what I asked for, but there was a catch. That catch is Scorpio. That catch is Pluto. Now learn from it and rephrase your wish or change it completely. That's what you're going to have to learn. Pleasure is not promised. You can get it, and it's always going to come with a catch until you start understanding what you really want, what you really need, and understanding how to word what you want in a way that there cannot be any more catches. There cannot be any more fine print. It's pure. It's raw. It's real. And it's something that cannot be tainted or cannot be flipped around. You figure out exactly what it is you really want. But it takes maturity. It takes accepting mistakes and making mistakes and changing and growing. It's going to be a bit of a struggle because you think you know and you think you got it, and you're going to have to keep being reminded that you don't. And then if you don't take that lesson when it's handed to you nicely, the very few times that it's handed to you nicely, check out where Pluto is, and you're going to learn that lesson the hard way. And it's always going to hit you the same sort of way, from the same sort of angle, because you're going to look at Scorpio, you're going to look at Pluto and see what's happening. You look at Venus in Gemini in the 9th house, and you see that you actually have a fantastic approach to love. Fantastic. Because you're with Venus being in Gemini, being in that place where it can be free and it can find out what interested, and you have more than one pleasure. You have tons of things that pleasure you, and you've now learned that Taurus lesson. You've came into this life with that lesson from Taurus, where it's like you need to be able to evolve, you need to be able to change, and it's like, hell yeah, I already know that, and I do it constantly, and I'm always ready to figure out something new that I like and add it to my list and think about it and understand it and play with it and experiment. And you already understand that when you play with it and when you experiment with it, you grow much wiser. You figure out much more than you expected to figure out. And when you embrace it and you have fun in love, you get to explore new things, and it opens up new doors that you just never thought was going to happen. And things get so big and things get so grand so quickly. And you look at Sagittarius sitting in your third house, and it's the idea that you need to pay attention to this. Don't get selfish. Don't get distracted. Pay attention to this, because people will be relying on you to teach them. You did not get blessed with this placement for no reason. You need to bring it into the world. You need to create a theology. You need to pass this on. You need to enlighten the people around you, because you are best suited to do it. You are a love guru, this sort of thing, but that's a lot of responsibility. Don't squander it. Don't spend your life becoming petty and becoming so interested in all these different things just cause it's interesting. Don't forget that there's a point to this. There's a point to life. There's something that you owe for this good karma. Give it out. Spread it. Teach others. Enlighten others. Make it your business to do so. And then you'll see that pleasure goes way beyond the physical. It's all about what can you take from the people that you help. What can you learn from the person that you just taught? Any teacher will tell you they learn just as much from their students as they are teaching them. And the world will become that. And you'll open up and you'll open up grander lessons that are way more pleasing than anything physical, because you are learning from the people that you're teaching. And then you get to go into a higher realm, a higher vibration, where Venus can really let herself free. And you can really find pleasure and joy and love in brand new, diverse ways that are just way more diverse than anyone can imagine. It's going to take work, and you're going to have to pay attention and stay mature. And don't get sidetracked by the minutia. You gotta stay big picture. And remember that there are people who are relying on you at the end of the day. And that your fun and your experiences and your love and your passion is only supposed to equal more. The things that are happening to you in your day-to-day is going to equal more. Appreciate all that's around you. And then spread that appreciation and spread that knowledge. Or else it won't mean anything in the end. Now with Venus in your 10th house and Cancer as your ascendant ruler, this is adding a lot of focus on what you can do, what your place in the world, what you can do in the world, what's your value in the world. You really want to look at your value in a kind of a bigger sense, not money value, but what is your existence value? What is the value of your existence? And to have Venus on your midheaven means that there's a sensitivity to you and a charm to you and a beauty to you that you can use to advance your career. You can use this to take an interest, like when Venus is now moving out of Gemini, moving out of the 9th house, learn those lessons. Now I'm in Cancer, where it's like, I want to foster something. I want to make something. And now that it's moved from the 9th house to the 10th house, it's like, I want to make something that will last. I want to make something that is big, that the world can use. The world is your children, and you want to foster something that will help them, something healthy for them, something that will carry them and protect them. People get that from you. People kind of rely on that with you. People are attracted to you and you're like, wow, you're so beautiful, you're so attractive, I'm just so into this. And then it's just like, well, take care of me. And then people want you to take care of them, and people want you to provide them with things. And Venus kind of has no trouble, especially in Cancer, giving. Like, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll make you happy, I'll make you happy. But we're moving out of the more mature sorts of Venus, like like the later signs, and we're moving into the earlier signs where you can be very, very, very susceptible to being drained, and that you will not focus on yourself, and Venus will not pay attention to her own pleasure. You will pay attention to the pleasure around you. And especially with this being in the 10th house, it can turn very quickly into a using thing where people will use you up and spit you out, and that's what you will kind of start to get known for, being used up. Or you will start to, or you can take that and start to build a legacy based on the fact that you are kind of like this mother hen, and you are sultry and you are attractive because there's something exuding off you that is just so spiritual, and it's so raw, and it's so emotional, and you have something spiritual to give, and you're interested in the culture around you, and the world around you, and the people around you, and you want to be able to do something for them and give something to them. And you'll learn to take pleasure from the fact that your career and what you're building for yourself can sustain you. You can actually sustain yourself off of this. And not only do you have a company that is helping people survive, helping people live, helping them go to college, helping them get beds, anything to help provide conveniences for others, help provide something to someone else. You also make $1 million doing it. That's the payoff. This is your personal pleasure. But you also take a great pleasure from the fact that you are making $1 million. Yes, I'm making a lot of money, and I'm making a good living for myself. But I'm making a good living for myself because I'm making a good living for someone else. It's that sort of give and take. And then you look at Capricorn being in your 4th house, and it's like, yes, you want to be a provider. And then your 4th house will start to grow. You'll get the big bucks for providing for other people. When you build a company that gives beds to people that don't have beds, that gives clothes to people who don't have clothes, or who tries to solve world hunger, and you manage to do it, you're going to make a lot of money doing those things. And you're going to be able to create the structure and the financial support and the financial security that you want in your own home, while still being able to give security to other people within the grand scale. So Venus's pleasures are again going to come from work. This is the 10th house we're talking about. But your work needs to do more than just sustain you. You need to work at being able to help other people, and you will be supported in the same way that you're supporting others. You might be providing to them physically, and they'll provide to you monetarily. You might be providing to them emotionally, and they will provide to you monetarily. And that give and take. And the money won't so much matter to you, but you'll appreciate it, and you'll like the security. And really what matters to you is the fact that you built something successful that is helping the world. And that's really what's going to please you. And that's really going to be love to you. And then the more that you do it, the more successful that you become, the more you're going to radiate this brilliant, lively energy, because you're going to be so happy that you are so helpful. And it can only get better and better and better. And it's just going to be a cycle that gets better and better and better. But don't get petty. And things are not going to happen as smoothly, as perfectly as I'm talking about it. But be able to handle it. And show that Cancer tenacity, and don't give up. Now, with Venus and Leo in your 11th house, Venus being Leo is showing that you have a lot of wants. You have a lot of things that need to be filled. You have a lot of pleasure that needs to be pleased. You have a lot of things that you just want, and you want to be able to have them, and you want to be able to touch them, feel them, roll around in it, have a person to be able to attach that to, have people to be able to attach that to. You want to be able to have many different ways to get what you want and get what you crave from many different people and many different outlets. And you might start to get friendships where it's like the line between this being a relationship and this being a friendship is blurred, because you are starting to ask of your friends what someone else would normally ask of their boyfriend or girlfriend. And you will start to kind of blur these lines and create these relationships where you're not really sure what's going on. You're not really sure where the boundaries are set. And Venus is sort of kind of creating this thing where it's like it takes a village to take care of you. It takes a village to make you happy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially with this being in Leo. it's only very easy for it to be a bad thing because it is in Leo. You can become very needy, and you can start to manipulate and use your influence to sort of suck everyone around you dry. And you don't want to be that person, and you don't want to be the person who's left with no one because you have this tendency and people are now starting to know you for it. You want to be able to ask of your friends of the things that you want to be able to ask of them, but be able to give out as much as you're taking in. Be generous with what your friends want from you. When you network, it's going to be the fact that you have something to provide. A Leo doesn't just come in and just ask for things with nothing there. A Leo comes in and they're dazzling and they're bright and they're entertaining, and then you want to give them things, and then they're so used to people wanting to give them things that they expect it. Now you need to find a way to dazzle these people and give them what they want, and then they will do the same. And as long as you keep it healthy, as long as you don't ask for too much, it's going to be a healthy relationship. Even though the lines are kind of blurred and maybe you're getting a sort of strange type of attention from these friends, and it's like, are you guys dating? Like, no, they're just my friend. Be able to make sure that you're not sucking them dry. Be able to make sure that you're giving them something, and what they're giving you is natural, and you're not asking for it or demanding it or taking it. They feel happy giving you things, and you feel totally happy being generous with them because that cycle has now started. But it gets complicated because you have many friends and many acquaintances, and they all have something to give you. And you're going to need to be able to give them something in return. All of them are going to need to have some of your generosity. You have a lot of energy and a lot to give, but it takes a lot to maintain it as well. You're going to look at Aquarius in your 5th house, and you're going to see it's just the fact that you're connecting with these people is going to be what drives you to keep doing this, and the connection and the attention and the love and just the exploration and the ability to dazzle them and the ability to be an entertainer for them and get something in return for it when it comes to attention, when it comes to love, when it comes to just warmth. When you look at Uranus and wherever Uranus is placed in your chart, you're going to see where the problems come in and where you're pushing boundaries too far and where you need to innovate a relationship and maybe stop defining certain things and maybe define other things, or maybe stop this relationship, stop this unhealthy cycle because you've pushed your boundaries too far and now it's not working anymore, and Uranus is going to kick in and it's going to remind you of what you are meant to focus on, and it's going to remind you about what you are meant to change the outlook on things on. Because what you're doing and just what you love and what you pay attention to and the pleasure that you plan to get in return for the pleasure that you give is going to be revolutionary. It's not going to be simple. It's not going to be something that people are like, wow, that just makes a lot of sense. This is going to be unique. And this is going to be something that that's going to challenge a lot of people's views and challenge a lot of things. And the friends that you have and these relationships that you keep and the things that I'm talking about are not going to be average or normal or simple. So Uranus is going to be there to kind of constantly keep you evolving, keep you moving in a new strange direction, and you're just going to have to be able to keep up and keep your tap and shoes on and keep getting what you need and keep giving what they want. Venus in Virgo in the 12th house. You have such an in-depth view on love. This placement is breathtaking, especially when it's your chart ruler. Because I personally feel like Venus in Virgo is totally unappreciated. It's totally looked down upon, and there's so much to learn from someone with a Venus in Virgo. They have such an insight and such an in-depth sort of realistic view on what love can mean outside of just all the esoteric verbs, all the esoteric terms and the metaphysical analogies. When you break it down and make it real, make it visceral, Venus and Virgo can do that. And it's not, I don't think they don't understand love. They don't understand why you don't understand love. Why do you keep acting like it can't be defined? Why do you keep acting like it can't be worked out and scheduled and work and figured out? Why do you keep thinking that emotions equal love? It's more than that. It's more than this metaphysical. It's more than this esoteric. It takes real world practicality to make love work too. And when you have Venus going through this in this very tangible, practical, real world focused placement, when things become more tangible, things become more real with Venus, and your pleasures become a little bit more defined, like I want this right here because that's what I like, and then that makes sense, and now it's right in your face, and I have my clipboard of all the things that I want out of love. When it's sitting in the 12th house, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds here, and it's kind of the same thing for Venus and Pisces in the 6th house, but I kind of feel like it's a little different when it's Venus in Virgo in the 12th house. Then you're kind of looking at your connection to the esoteric, and you have to be broken down. When you're the person with this placement, you have to realize that sometimes you're too real, sometimes you're too to the point, sometimes you need to be able to interject esoteric terms and metaphysical analogies. You need to be able to have those work and make those things practical. And I kind of feel like someone with this placement, you are going to find out what real love is. You're going to, because you're going to learn to compromise. Both Virgo and the 12th house are mutable, and you're going to be able to look at what you need, look at what your partner needs, and give it to them, and ask for it in return, and expect it, and almost demand it. And it's going to be karmic things. It's going to be things that are so important to what a relationship needs, and you're going to have them check down, like, this is very important and we need this, and this is very important and we need this, and you think this is important, so I'm going to give it to you. And it's going to be this sort of contract, and the things within this contract are going to make sense. They're going to be beautiful and amazing, and it's going to be like, this is such a good relationship. The only problem is that you're going to have to fail a lot. You have to fail over and over and over and over again, and just keep working at it. And just keep working on your list, and just keep working on the list of the people that you're dating, and keep figuring out this equation. You're going to get the answer. You're going to learn to compromise. You're going to learn to be able to meld with someone else in such a way that your pleasure is their pleasure, and that your love is their love. And you're just going to keep working at it, and you're going to keep defining it, and then you're going to keep defining yourself, and you're going to have to work through a lot of things within yourself when it has to do with your ability to give to other people, and are you giving enough, and are you worth enough to be able to give something to someone else. But hopefully you will be able to run in relationships that build up your strength within yourself. And you look at Neptune, and you look at Pisces in your 6th house, and you see that that it's the idea of you having to keep working at it, keep doing it, make love and make pleasure and make all these certain things that you're looking for in a relationship, make that your focus. Make love your focus on a grand scale or a romantic one-on-one scale. Make that your focus, and focus on it, and perfect it. Perfect what it is that needs to be exchanged. And when you see Neptune is going to be the planet that kind of comes around, and it's sitting in a certain house, and it's sitting in a certain sign, and it's giving you grand wisdom. And it's telling you where you need to let go, where things are not going to be answered, and focus on everything else but right here. Right here is the ticket to making it all make sense, but it's not where the answers are. This is where the answers are not, so you can answer everything else around it. So it's interesting. And I would love to hear from people who have Venus and Virgo in their 12th house with a Libra ascendant. It's so interesting to me. But yeah, that is the Venus Natal Chart Ruler with the Libra ascendant. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is actually the longest one I've had so far. I don't plan on making them all this long, but this Venus and Libra, this was a lot more engaging than I thought it was going to be. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. Of course, I put the timestamps below so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But you're here, so either you're Venus in Virgo, or you watch the whole thing. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And yeah, thanks.